With Steam Next Fest going on from now until March 3rd, your boy's been playing a ton of demos, and here are some that I think you should check out. And if any of these look interesting to you, I'll have links down below so you can check all of these demos out for yourself. So with that said, let's get right into it. Advent Neon is a crazy fast 2D action platformer that feels like a mashup of Sonic and Mega Man, but definitely has its own flavor to it. You'll be dashing, running, jumping off walls, flipping around, moving at hyper speed. You're definitely going to be throwing hands. Lots of cool, combos, and the melee in here is good. There's a really dope parry mechanic they have, and you can temporarily stop time, which is always fun. And I just love how vibrant and fast-paced this was. The characters had a lot of personality. The game had a lot of personality. Stage design was good. The boss fights are fun. They move at hyper speed. It's non-stop action, just a lot of running, moving, flipping. There's always something going on. There's always somebody to fight, and if you're not fighting, you're running and flipping somewhere. This was just pure fun, just pure fun. So if you like 2D action platformers, Advent Neon is a no-brainer. This needs to be on your wish list, and definitely give this demo a look. Keeping with the theme of speed, I gotta talk about Haste Broken Worlds. This is a third-person running roguelike where you run really fast because the world around you is collapsing. So you need to run, jump, roll, gotta stick to landing, and you get to use a hoverboard also to help you go faster. So you need all of those tools to help you get between these stages. So in between the stages, you'll get to learn about the world, you get to meet characters, you get to get some power-ups, and you basically play on what's called a shard. The shard is like the entire section that you're playing, and then within the shard are little stages that you go through. So some are just regular stages where you're just collecting sparks and trying to just get to the other side of the stage before the world collapses, but you're also dodging hazards. Environmental things will be going off, all kinds of craziness will be happening. Then there are shops that you can stop at along the way, so you can buy power-ups and upgrades and things of that nature. And they also have challenge areas where the stages are a little more challenging. You might have to just get to the other side of the stage to make to the end, but you got special hazards that are trying to stop you, like lava, or there's one where they have these little circular things, and if you jump too close to it, it'll like pull you in. So really cool. I'm glad they did switch up things with the stage design, because it's not simply just jumping and running. It is that, but there's a little bit of strategy to it. You gotta know what you're doing. But yeah, this was a ton of fun, man. This was just flat out fun. And a genre as crowded as roguelikes, it's just good to see something that's a little different. So yeah, Haste Broken Worlds, this is definitely something you need to put on your wish list, and definitely check this one out. Now, before I get into this game, quick warning for anyone with arachnophobia, because a spider will be present. But with that said, Stone is a 3D Metroidvania where you can use your stone body to morph and transform into different forms, and doing this gives you different abilities that help you fight, solve puzzles, and explore. And I love the different forms you get in this. There's a spider form that you can use, and that helps you kind of like traverse and climb up walls. And there's a really cool mist form where you can like pass through gates and objects that you otherwise wouldn't be able to pass through, and it lets you wrap yourself around projectiles to travel, which was really dope. And I don't know, something about this just gave me like Legacy of Kain vibes. I'm not exactly sure what, but something about this made me think of that game. But the combat is pretty simple, not the deepest. You get a little combo that you can do. Nothing too crazy, but it gets the job done. And you'll be finding items that you can use to upgrade things like health. And you can, it's just a lot of exploration going on, and little light puzzle solving. And every different area has its own, different unique enemies. So good on the enemy variety front. And yeah, I'm really interested to see more of like the world and the story, because I feel like they have a solid foundation here, no pun intended, for a pretty good and unique game. I just need to see how it all comes together. But it's a pretty sizable demo. You'll get to explore around for a pretty decent amount of time to get a feel for the game, to see if you like it. But yeah, this is Stone. I thought this was pretty dope, so I wanted to put this on the list. So yeah, definitely give this one a look. Now, I'll be honest, y'all, I'm not good at turn-based RPGs, and I'll probably explain a lot of these mechanics wrong. But I wanted to expand my horizons, so I tried out this game called Fumehead, and it was actually pretty dope. You play as the main character, Dart, and you also get another character named Amy. Both of you live in like this underground cave place where there's some weird things going on with worms and some entity called the Slither. And I didn't understand everything that was happening, but I did like that the characters had a lot of personality. And even though I am trash at turn-based games. I had fun with the combat because they let you shoot people and let you do cool stuff while you shoot people. So it held my attention. But yeah, you get these different skills that you get to pick from, and then certain skills you can only use during certain colored phases, which you can see at the top of the screen. So depending on the color of the phase, there might be a certain ability you can use tied to that color, but you can only use it while that color is active. In the demo, you get to run around the cave. You get to get into a few different fights. You'll be shooting at people. You'll be shooting at worms. And you get to watch this really kind of wild story unfold. But I had fun with this, man. The characters, like I said, had good personality. Soundtrack, OST for this was really dope. And it was just a really interesting world. It was weird, but like in a good way. But yeah, if you like turn-based RPGs, and if you're good at them, unlike me, you should probably check this one out. I came across City of Rampage right at the last minute before I decided to make this video, but I'm actually glad that I played it. City of Rampage is a pretty straightforward beat 'em up, man. Let's get straight to the point. You just walk through the streets, you fight, and you keep on fighting. But I love the combat, man. There's variety in the combos, which is sometimes my worry of beat 'em ups is that the combat gets repetitive. But they definitely put some effort to try to make it and try to make some variety with the moveset. So you got your normal combos. You can do things with certain arrows. You have a special move. You have a block that you can use to counter enemies, which is also really dope. But I will warn you, this game is hard. It might take you a little bit to get used to the timing of the enemies. But just stick it out for a little bit. But it's gonna be tough for the first couple minutes. You might get your face pushed in. But just give it some time and learn the game, and I think you'll have a good time. But yeah, love the art style. Really dope retro soundtrack. And there's a Comic Zone reference in here. And I love Comic Zone, so it gets extra points for that. But yeah, if you like old school style beat 'em ups, if you like things like Streets of Rage, I think you'll be able to find some enjoyment out of this. And word of advice, just real quick before I leave, when you get to the boss fight, exercise some patience. That's all I'm gonna say. That boss fight is pretty wild. That guy can fight. But yeah, you'll see when you get there. But yeah, City of Rampage is pretty fun. Give this one a look. If you're like me and you love Metroid, then you absolutely need to check out Moadra. This is a really dark sci-fi Metroidvania where you're exploring this grim, dusty, desolate, forgotten planet, running around looking like the Predator while you try to find the whereabouts of a princess and these mysterious orbs that she's after. You'll be running, shooting, flipping, and using this little cool x-ray tool that helps you scan the environment so you can get more context to the story and figure out like what kinds of weapons you need to get access to certain pathways that you're unable to pass through, and all kinds of weird creatures running around. There's a boss fight you'll get to do. I will say this feels more exploration than action, at least in the demo. So I hope the full game is a little more full of enemies, but I really just love the feel of this. I love the sound design. The voices for the characters are really dope. Like I was really impressed with this, man. I have high hopes for this game. I'd never heard of it before playing this demo, but I'm pretty hyped for this, man. I got some high expectations for this. I think this can be something really be something really good if they pull this all together the way they need to. But the demo so far definitely got me hyped. So if you like Metroidvanias, if you like Metroid, give Moadra a look. I think you'll enjoy this one. Deliver at all costs gave me that old school just PS2 kind of vibe when games had charm and they were just kind of just meant for just to be fun. And you play as this character named Winston Green, who gets a job at a delivery company, and he just drives around. He delivers various cargo to different customers, and you gotta wreck, well, you don't have to, but you can wreck the entire city while you do it. So you're driving around to these locations, you're dropping off cargo, but you're wrecking buildings, you're running over pedestrians, they're getting mad at you and they're trying to beat up your car, you're hiding from cops if you get a little too devious. And it's just good, fun, chaotic, just madness. And there are secrets to find, shops to go to. You can get out of the car and like run around and explore a little bit. You got some side missions that you can take part in. And even within all the chaos, there is an actual story. Winston has a bit of a mysterious past, and he's also, I guess, like an engineer, rocket engineer or something. He's trying to do some extracurricular activities. And he meets, a colorful cast of characters along the way at the delivery company. And you get to run into random NPCs throughout the various towns that you'll get to drive through. And this game actually has some really good voice acting, to be honest. Was not expecting that. But yeah, this just had a lot of charm to it, man. If you want to play something just to strictly just have some fun, just run around and just be a menace in like a really fun arcadey kind of way. Deliver at all costs, I think, is a good one. And yeah, had a lot of fun with this one, so check this out. Scaravan 66 is a roguelike that takes it to the road, where you play as Lucky, a reaper who's tired of reaping souls, so she just told the devil, nah bro, not doing this no more. And so now she's on the road killing a bunch of demons, and you ride your car, speeding down the road, bending corners, shooting various weapons, ramming into other cars, and just wrecking everything in sight. And after you clear a batch of enemies, you'll get to make pit stops. And this is where you get to meet other characters who provide additional context to the story, and more importantly, they give you upgrades to, improve your vehicle, improve your stats, give you new abilities, things of that nature. The gameplay is pretty fun. Steering does sometimes feel a little too loose. I think the controls could be just a little tighter in terms of steering. And I do hope that in the full game we'll get to see maybe different environments. I understand that you're on a road, but I would like to see the environment change. But it is just a demo, so the full game, I would hope, would probably have a little more to offer. But the concept of this is really fun. And the gameplay, despite the controls not feeling the absolute best, I still think this is a really dope concept. And it's a fun one to play. Just run around and shoot stuff and ram into stuff and make everything explode. That's that's the name of the game. So yeah, Scaravan 66. This is a fun one to play. So give this a look. The next game I want to talk about is Poem Ex Machina. Now, this one admittedly felt a little rough around the edges, but with some polish, I think this could be something pretty unique. This combines fast-paced, third-person action mixed in with some parkour, and somehow it's a combo that actually works pretty well together. You play as Kloppen. I don't know how to say this dude's name, but you play as Kloppen, I guess, and he's trying to stop like this weird supernatural thing that's going on in this town. I didn't know all of what was going on, but Kloppen has a few different styles of combat, a few different modes he can go into. One mode allows him to be much more up close and personal with kind of like some traditional melee, and the other mode lets you move around much more freely, and you're moving a lot faster. And this is where you can kind of flip around and just be really active with your motions. And the controls can take a bit of getting used to. There's like a shooting mechanic that you can do, and that felt really awkward to me, and the camera isn't always your friend. Like I said, I think this game definitely does need some polish, but once you get used to it, the combat is fun. The world is interesting, and I don't know, this has a weirdness about it, but like a good kind of weird. I like games with personality, and this definitely seems to have personality, and it seems really interesting. There's something here. I just think it needs to bake in the oven a little bit more. But yeah, give Poem Ex Machina a look. I think this will be an interesting one to keep an eye on. Another game on this list that was pretty far out of my wheelhouse, but I really enjoyed, was Neo Junk City. This is a point-and-click game that's also kind of an action RPG with some shooting. Not really sure how to categorize this, but it was actually really dope. You play as an android cop named Buster, number 9, who's trying to solve a murder that she's committed. That's right, you are the killer. You are a cold-blooded killer, but you don't have any memory of what you did or how you did it or why you did it. So you get to explore this gorgeous pixelated cyberpunk city. You're talking to local NPCs, some of who are homeless, some of who are delinquents, and a bunch of other random folks. But you get to gather clues, solve puzzles, and when the action starts, it switches to like this arcade style shooter. And I don't know, it's a really interesting combination of gameplay that somehow works. But I really love this art style. The soundtrack goes really well with the game. Characters are interesting. The dialogue is wild, just like some of the characters are. It's somebody who just doesn't really play these kinds of games often. I was really impressed with this, and you've heard me say this a lot in this video. I love games with personality, and this definitely had personality to it. And the story was on a good track. I like where this is going. I would actually be really interested to play the full version of this, and I don't normally play point and click games, but yeah, to my point and click fans, give Neo Junk City a look. I think there's something special here for you. Firstly, arachnophobia warning for this game. Secondly, Redemption of Liuyin is a pretty cool third-person action RPG. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really catch on to much of what was going on in the story, but you know what I can say? Combat in this game, super fun. With this sword, you're gonna be stringing together all kinds of combos, doing fancy dodges and countering with some really dope abilities. I love just like the animations and the choreography of the moves that you can pull off. This is honestly like, this is one of those games that I can kind of overlook some of its flaws and its rough edges just because I like the fighting so much. This felt, you know, like a dark mystical fusion of like if Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon met like Sifu. And it's not the most high grade game ever, but it's fun. I like the combat. I really enjoyed the combat. Now this does have some QTEs in it, but the inputs are pretty easy, so it's not anything too crazy. And the moments are like cinematic looking, so I didn't mind it that much. The game isn't perfect. It could probably maybe feel a little more fluid, but I really like the swordplay and the combos and the dodging. It all just comes together. It all comes together really well. This game influences you for violence. It wants you to fight, and I like to fight. So this is me in this game. We were just kind of meant. We were just kind of meant to be. So this just kind of worked for me. Apparently this is part of a whole franchise, but I'm just not familiar with it. But this demo was pretty fun. It's pretty decent size. You at least get a feel for the fighting. Definitely, they give you more than enough people to fight. But yeah, Redemption of Liuyin. Yeah, go have fun. Go cut people. Go do some fancy dodges, and just have yourself a good old time. I think you'll enjoy this one. Well, these were some of my favorite demos that I played during Steam Next Fest. Let me know what demos you played and if any of these demos look interesting to you. But yeah, thank you for watching the video. My name is Serial Sensei. Y'all stay safe, y'all stay hydrated, and I'll see you on the next one.